Out with the old and in with the new. I am sure most of us have never been quite so eager to welcome a new year with all its possibilities. There are many reasons to be hopeful in this new year, such as the promise of vaccines to help end the current pandemic. Change will not happen instantaneously, though. Like so much of the transformation and healing that we desire, change will require our willing participation and faithful patience and persistence until then. In light of past efforts and anticipating efforts to come in 2021, let me first offer my heartfelt appreciation and encouragement. For our leaders who weigh all of the information in determining how to worship, including when it is not safe to do so in person, thank you. For our leaders who strive to develop ways for us to gather safely when we do, thank you. For our leaders who handle the technical challenges of audio and video and recording and streaming and licensing and more, thank you. For our leaders who strive to see that no one is left out in the midst of these adaptations, thank you. For our leaders who expand ways to give and see to our stewardship, and for our leaders who continue to invest in our ministry, thank you. For our leaders who reach out by phone and email, through handwritten cards and social media, to spread love and nurture connections and relationships, thank you. For our leaders who continue generous efforts to meet the needs in our communities and around the world, thank you. For our leaders who have found new ways to meet the needs in our communities, and to those who have risen to the challenge of meeting new needs, thank you. For our leaders who have shown self-giving love through their deeds and words, thank you. For our leaders who are striving to counter the injustices of this broken world with pieces of God's perfect justice, thank you. For our leaders who persevered last year and agreed to keep serving this year, and for those who have stepped up and accepted new responsibilities this year, thank you. For our leaders who have wrung themselves inside out to help us stay church together, thank you. Your efforts have not been and will not be in vain. In a year when the broken world around us, and when we in our own brokenness needed God's comforting presence and healing love, you have found ways to make God's presence and love real. Perhaps some of our efforts have been imperfect, and perhaps some have not worked out as we expected or planned. Some efforts, though, with the Spirit's help, have accomplished far more than we may yet know or could have ever imagined. And that will be the case for this year's efforts as well. These months of physical distancing have created their own opportunities and challenges that we will face in the months ahead. Some people have found meaningful ways to connect faithfully using technology, and they will want and even need that option. The church has crossed into the digital frontier, and we need to maintain a serious presence there. We must find ways to turn certain frantic adaptations of 2020 into ongoing ministries of the church in 2021 and beyond. Even as we celebrate the ways technology has enabled us to build connections, we must recognize a painful truth. Physical distancing has given people permission to disconnect from the church. We need to offer explicit invitations for people to connect, including an explanation of why what we do is essential. Following the example of Jesus, grounded in our understanding of the nature of God, we recognize and address physical, social, psychological, and spiritual needs in ways no one else does. Some people will need many opportunities to reconnect with us. Sadly, some never will. However, the better we enunciate the hows and whys of our ministry, the more likely we are to attract and connect with new people, and the more vibrant our ministry will be. We recognize the brokenness of the world and the misguided values that create injustice and suffering, and we strive to live by the values exemplified by Jesus. We know our own shortcomings and need for forgiveness, and having known God's gracious forgiveness, we work to forgive others. We realize our own ignorance and blind spots, and we seek God's truth and wisdom. Even with our limitations, we have resources to share: time, talents, money, prayers that can improve the lives of others around us. And we invest our resources in those efforts. We believe that God's love is perfect and boundless, encompassing us and others, and we lean into that love and strive to reflect it through our lives. Together, we have opportunities to share this gospel in our communities in the year ahead, sometimes in tried and true traditions, and sometimes in newer ways. We do not need to face this new year alone, however. We can, and we ought, to lean on each other, to learn from each other, to commiserate with each other, to encourage each other, to be disciples together. Our regional church organization will offer some of these ways to work together. Many of the best ways, though, will come organically as you reach out to others you know or who you know you need to meet. Don't be shy, and please don't try to go it alone. We need each other. We will thrive because of each other's presence in our lives and ministry together. Again, I give thanks for your commitment to the many things that Jesus has given us to do in our communities and in this world. I am excited by your passion and your creativity, by the skills you have dusted off or learned new, by your fervent efforts to gather at Christ's table, and by your dedication, no matter what circumstances you have faced. And I look forward to serving alongside you this year. Patiently, persistently, prayerfully, together.